What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a look at, well, the ban list. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, the ban list. You see, the ban list has gone and been updated, and in a move that should shock approximately 0 people, yeah, we've got the same ban list Japan does. And I've made this point many times before, but let me say it again. If a card is banned or restricted in the Japanese version of the One Piece card game, it is gonna happen in the West. Now, interestingly, we have had a couple of ban list updates in the West which haven't translated over to Japan, but remember they're a couple months ahead of us. I.e., we might be basically banning something and Japan's like, well, maybe we should have done that, but we're past that meta now, so it doesn't matter, that format's been and gone. Whereas when Japan bans a card, we're like, yes, we know, it's coming, we are on it. And it was inevitable, it was always going to happen, and I know technically it wasn't guaranteed, but it was, it really was. It was always going to happen, and it has now gone and been confirmed. But it does mean that we can go and have a look at the exact reasoning. They have written up on the website a reasoning as to why each of these cards have been banned, and we can have a chat about what is like the likely impact. So, Sakazuki, what have we got? Well, Sakazuki, remember, is the redonkulously good leader, and it's both black and blue, which is a phenomenal color combination. And activate main once per turn, you can trash a card from your hand and draw a card. And then when attacking, you can reduce one of your opponent's characters by -1 cost. It is a very, very good leader. And there's no argument, in the OPO5 meta at least, there is absolutely no argument about, is it the best leader? Of course it's the best leader. It's very, very obviously the best leader. It is clearly, by a margin, the best leader. The top 4 of European finals was all Sakazuki. The top 4 of the World Finals was all Sakazuki. And I'm not saying it's the only valid leader. I'm not saying it's the only competitive leader. We all know that Anel won North American Finals. But I absolutely am saying that it is, by a wide margin, the best leader. And, you know, I've shown you this before, but, you know, over on Limitless, if you go and have a look, we see that the OPO5 meta, you know, it's kind of hilarious, honestly, how much of the meta is taken up by Sakazuki. It's 47%. It's absurd, frankly. You know, the second biggest deck is Anel, which comes in at about 1/3 of it. So yes, they needed to do something about Sakazuki, and we all know we've got the Hina, Rebecca, Rob Lucci combination that they could have hit. The combo basically goes like this. Rebecca, when you play it, lets you grab a 3 to 7 cost black card from your trash, and then play a 3 cost or lower black character. So basically what you do is you use it to recover either Hina or Rob Lucci, it doesn't really matter which one. You then use it to play Hina for free. You can't play Rob Lucci for free, it's a 4 cost. And then you play Rob Lucci, and then all of a sudden, you know, that KO's a 2 cost or less and a 1 cost or less. But Hina reduces the cost of a character by 4, plus you got the leader skill, plus whatever else you've got, and you add that all up together, and yeah, it's pretty oppressively good. They could have gone down that route. They chose instead to get rid of Sakazuki. Here's what they said. This card's effect allows players to draw cards with little risk, making the ideal game plan centered around this card easily replicable. Its reliability is a strength that sets it apart from other leaders, especially in tournaments. In addition, the blue and black color combination affords highly flexible effects, with black serving to lower costs and blue removing character cards at the bottom of the deck. The result is a deck that is more powerful than expected, leading to one-sided battles that ignore the use of the trash, on-KO effects, and other game mechanics. They're referring to characters like Borsellino. You know, we all know Rob Lucci KOs. Borsellino doesn't KO, but what Borsellino does do is put a character at the bottom of the deck. But because black has got so many skills that lower the cost of characters, you know, you look at Borsellino and initially you're removing a 4 cost character, but it's not really a 4 cost character, it's basically whatever you feel like. It's redonkulously good. And like I say, the blue-black color combination is a really phenomenal part of why this leader was good. This card has a higher win rate and usage rate than other cards due to its powerful removal ability, reliability, and minimal risk, and significantly impairs the enjoyment of fundamental aspects of the One Piece card game, the back and forth of attack and defense between characters, and the ability to choose from a variety of leaders. We have therefore decided to designate this card as a banned card. Yeah, he gone! You can't play it. I mean, leaders are one per deck anyway, but no, it's absolutely gone, and it's not coming back. This leader is too good. The blue-black combo is good, and it's not even really, you'll notice in the little blurb there, they didn't even really mention the lowering cost part of the character. That's not really that important. It was the draw combined with the color combination that really put Sakazuki apart. And, you cannot look at the results that we've had recently in the OPO5 meta and really argue against it. Sakazuki was too good. But one really interesting point, they haven't mentioned the replacement Sakazuki. Because, of course, in Japan, they went and banned Sakazuki. But alongside the announcement, they were like, don't worry, there's this promo we're going to distribute as well. It's, again, just a dual-color black and blue leader. But activate main once per turn. You may trash a navy card from your hand to reduce the cost of one of your opponent's characters by 1. So you can still reduce cost. But as I just said, that was not the main part of why this card was good. And it's harder to do so, and they've taken the draw ability. And that's really all they've done. Black and blue is still a great colour combination. What they've really done here is take away the drawing, but they've also given a discard, which is really important, because one of the things about Sakazuki was, I casted the European finals, right? And we saw Sakazuki mirror, where we'd see 4 or 5 turns in a row. You would just have one player blows up your opponent's board. Other player returns a favour, back and forth, back and forth. The combination of getting rid of the draw skill and giving a discard to lower cost is going to really hurt the consistency. Now, they did ban a couple of event cards as well. Sakazuki, obviously, the real headline here. But Great Eruption has gone and been banned. This is a draw 1 card, then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost for the turn. As a 1 cost, plus the trigger, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and trashes it. Here's what they said on the website. While many other cards reduce cost in a way similar to this card, and they do, like so many black cards reduce cost, it's kind of black special skill, frankly. So, yeah, they're right when they say that. There are many options for doing so. This is the only card that can reduce cost without consuming any cards in the player's hand or imposing any conditions, making it powerful in every stage of the game. We have determined that this card significantly lowers the risk involved in removal for decks containing black cards. Given the very high usage rate and win rate of decks that include black cards, and the fact that this card has the highest usage rate amongst cards that reduce cost, we have decided to designate this card as a banned card. So, drawing a card is good, reducing cost is good, but doing that for a 1 cost with no downside, yeah. Now, let's take something like Ice Age, for instance, because that hasn't gone and been banned. Well, you know what? Ice Age is another 1 cost card, and it reduces cost, and it reduces by 5 rather than 2, but it doesn't draw you a card. So it lowers your hand size, whereas Great Eruption, you pay 1, but then you get a card right back. So you play a card, but you get that card right back. Ice Age is generally played as around a 2 of on average. Great Eruption is played as a 4 of. And it really is as simple as that. Great Eruption is the better, more highly played card. That's why it went and got banned. And then everything else we said about black cards a minute ago. But there was one non-black card that they went and banned, and that was Reject. It's a 4-cost card where you either KO up to one of your opponent's characters of a cost of 5 or less, and then if your opponent has 1 life card, you deal a damage to your opponent, and then add a card from the top of your life to your hand. And look, this is best in an L-Dex. And it's clearly a phenomenal card in an L-Dex, or at least it will be, because you'll notice this is a card from OPO6. It's not actually, well, it's out now, I suppose. But when the ban list came down in Japan, this wasn't even out in English yet. We didn't have the English version of this card. But it's one of those cards that's so good. And, on the one hand, it's great with Enel decks. On the other hand, we've not really seen it outside of Japan. But it's expected to essentially be too good. Plus, it draws as a trigger. And bearing in mind, in yellow decks, there's lots of recovery. And that means that these trigger cards activate so much more often. And that draw is going to come in so much more often. Here's what they said on the website. The deal 1 damage to your opponent effect of this card greatly improves the ability of decks containing yellow cards, which often feature trigger effects, to deal finishing blows. Because your opponent's got 1 life, so you take it, and then you take a life yourself. It thereby makes these decks harder to deal with than expected, and significantly boosts their win rate. In addition, we are concerned that the cost of dealing 1 damage by this effect is low, and the ability to easily ignore offensive and defensive play causes more stress for players than expected, so we have decided to designate this card as a banned card. Generally speaking, if you want to get rid of one of your opponent's life, you have to try and attack through your opponent, but then of course they've got blockers and they can counter and etc, etc. But not with reject. It's just, oh, I paid 4 for an event card. Boom. Ha! Got it. Not ideal, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a couple of things they're getting at with these bans. One is significantly boosting win rate. One is making the game less fun. And especially if we banned Sakazuki, but left this go, there was a fear that Enel would really start to take over the metagame. So what they've gone and done instead is gone, you know what? Let's get rid of it and make things a bit easier. So there we go. That's what's happened. And now it's over to you guys. Are you surprised that we've just followed Japan's ban list, or did you see this coming all along? Do you agree with the bans? Are you mad about the bans? Are you happy about the bans? Tell me anything you want about the bans. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.